We in the studio. We in the studio. With Rob in the studio. In the studio. In the studio. Catch a vibe in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. With Rob in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. Yeah, I'm in the studio with Rob. I need to make the heat flicker. Izzle on it, only thing can make a Rico beat sicker. So listen and get your wisdom. Gemstones on your head. Tub with the OG like Flintstones, good in bed. Rob living a long time and he got something to say. Depending on how you feeling, dog, you might got something to pray. This type of influence that you ain't gotta filter through your liver. We in the studio with Rob. Come let the heat rock simmer.
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of In the Studio with Rob.
I wasn't sure if you was gonna do it the third time. You did do it the third time.
It wasn't the third time for you.
Exactly.
The third time for him because he kept getting cut off. But anyway, we back.
Right. So for
the him that I'm talking about, Izzle, what's up, man?
Yeah.
How you doing, young fella?
Feeling good, feeling great. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Hey, people, I got a surprise for you. I got my young bucks up in here with me.
Gang.
I got my man DJ.
Yo, what's going on, people?
And I got my young buck Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, they up in here today, and we're gonna talk a little bit. So you're gonna hear little comments back and forth from them probably on the background. So what we're gonna talk about that it actually applies to them a little bit because they got siblings. They got a few brothers and sisters. I think all together it's like six of them.
It's a little generous fuse.
Yeah, it's like six of them. So they got some siblings, and so what we're gonna talk about a little bit is about how siblings, as they grow and get older, have to start finding ways to establish boundaries because they're no longer the little 8-year-old brother, the little 5-year-old brother looking up to his older brothers or sisters. Now they're grown men, grown women, and they have to look at their siblings and hope their siblings look at them a little differently. I too had to go through that, and I still go through that. It's funny because I got 2 older sisters, and I don't know or think it matters how old I get. I'm always going to be their little brother, and of course my sisters are smaller than me, but they gonna look at me that they're my big sisters, and even though I think I've proven myself as the big brother, they don't really see it that
That's
way.
what I be saying.
Yeah,
Never mind, it's fine. I'm triggered.
Yeah, so it don't matter. So, but what I found though is that as long as my sisters respect who I am, I don't mind if they consider me a little brother. I'm cool with that because I am. I'm their younger brother, so I'm cool with that. So as long as they respect who I am today, and what I mean by that is, don't come at me, disrespectful because I'm your younger brother, because then I have to remind you that I'm also your bigger brother. So that's just me. But we gonna talk about
way more mature than me.
I am more mature than you.
That's all me is big brother. I don't care if you're older. I'm your big brother.
So we gonna talk about, and so Ryan is actually the youngest out of the 6.
You little guy.
So that means he got five people that's older than him. 3 brothers and 2 sisters that's older.
And for the record, I'm 25 right now at the time of this recording.
Yeah, so everybody's stressing the fact that he's 25. Okay, so he's a grown man. But at the same time, he is. Who is Ryan to you?
You should do the baby. I mean, your baby cheeks, your big 25-year-old cheeks.
So I don't know if y'all gonna be able to understand what he just said. Derek, what is Ryan to you?
Ryan is my younger brother. He's my younger
So
brother.
y'all gotta understand the difference too. I'm gonna help y'all with the difference between the difference between DJ and Izzle is that DJ is more mature, and he looks at his younger brother, where Izzle is real, and he gonna say so I use the word mature loosely, just to be nice.
But you don't have to say DJ. Everybody more mature.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, but my thing is that what people don't understand and what they have to start understanding though, as we get older and as you start to get a little older, you expect people to treat you differently. And the hardest part is to get your family to treat you as if you're older when they watch you grow up and they're watching you grow, and you want them now to say, oh, I'm a grown man. I should be able to, they should look at me like this, or they should talk to me this way. And they're like, yo, man, you still my little brother. You still my little sister. And it's hard. But you have an obligation to yourself and to them to, one, if you don't want to be treated like a little brother or little sister or that annoying little brother, that annoying little sister, then don't act like it when you get older. And you also have an obligation to yourself to then say, how do you want to, what am I doing, first of all, that offends you as an older brother or older sibling? How do I offend you? You have to say to that person, hey, this is what you're doing that I don't really care for anymore. It was cute or it was cool when I was little, but it don't work right now. And you have to do that. You have to take ownership of your own relationships. I think what happens a lot of times is that when people grow, the first thing people will tell you is like, yo, they don't treat you right, man. Don't mess with them no more. I don't care if it is family. They'll tell you to cut off family. They tell you to cut off friends. It ain't about cutting people off. It's about making sure they understand what the boundary is. How do I want to be treated at this age or in this place, regardless of who you are? I don't have to cut you off. I just need to help you learn to treat me in a way that's satisfactory to me. The problem is, you being the younger sibling a lot of time don't have the courage to speak for yourself or speak up. Now, I ain't saying this for my man Ryan, because I'm pretty sure he at that point now where his mouth don't stop as much as he used to. He used to be real quiet. I'm just a little side note. Boy didn't talk a lot. He was just that quiet one in the family. Now he probably talk more than anybody. He just that's a little
making up for lost time.
Yeah. Okay. so he'll speak his mind now. But now in speaking your mind though, it's also, I do have an older brother. I do have an older sister. I'm not trying to disrespect them, but I want them to respect me. So it's how do I say what I need to say so that I don't destroy the relationships, but I put the relationship on a path of better growth so that we can continue to grow together from as adults and not as kids. Not you looking down at me because I'm smaller, because I'm this or that, and always thinking of me as little when I'm a grown man, a grown woman, taking care of my own business and handling my own affairs, and you just saying, okay, I'm going to treat you as such. But then you also have to have a little bit of flexibility in that relationship to be able to go back for them to say, remember when? Because my sisters always tell me, remember when I got a sister, Terry, and her first, remember when I used to beat you up? I'm like, girl, I was 11, 12 years old.
And she used to beat you up.
And she used to beat me up.
But like how?
She used to bust my nose. She was violent. But
did we? What was her record? What was your record up until like 12? Because at a certain point
I am prior to that. After I grew the chain, because then I wouldn't hit her, but I would hold her so she couldn't hit me.
I did that,
and so it would run her crazy.
Wait, why did you do that?
Because I didn't want her to hit me.
No, but why didn't you just hit her?
No, because I was taught you can't be hitting your sister like that.
Who taught you that?
My mom.
Oh.
You can't be beating her.
Well, I did the same thing, but you taught me but I was scared I would get a whipping if right. So I had to do the restraining thing, but I was wondering, because obviously you didn't teach you that. So
right. My mom, you can't be beating on your sisters when you get a certain age. When I was little, she let me fight my sister when I was little. I mean, she didn't let me, but she didn't really care much. But she knew I was gonna lose, so I guess that's why she didn't care.
So why didn't you let me fight Shana when she could obviously beat me up?
Because I didn't want her to hurt you.
But she did hurt me a lot.
But I wouldn't let it happen. It just happened.
But about
you right now. Back to the plate.
People gonna have some questions.
People have questions later. All right. So anyway, what I'm getting to here, when he gets going off track, is that there are times where your siblings will remind you of the past, and that's not a bad thing because the past ain't bad. It's just that sometimes it can make you remember that you weren't that big tough dude that you think you are now, or that all that I'm an all woman now. Yeah, but you weren't an all woman once. You was a little girl that peed in the bed. And your siblings will remind you of those things. And those are, and sometimes you just eat it. It ain't that deep. But I think we take things so personal because if you're really confident in who you are today, what people say about you about happened yesterday don't bother you that much. I don't care. When my sister, and even got a friend back in the day, whenever I see her and go home and she'll say, hey, remember when your sister used to bust your nose? I laugh. It ain't no big deal because I know ain't nobody busting my nose today.
You think you beat up in public too?
Oh, yeah. So, my sister beat me up everywhere.
She beat you up all over Columbia?
My sister beat me up everywhere. But the problem is she never let nobody else touch me. So that was a good thing.
Because she wanted all the booty to herself.
But that's the whole thing. But it get to a place where it doesn't bother me what she did to me back then, because I know, one, it helped me become who I am today. It actually helped me learn to fight. Once I learned, I can beat her, and the stuff that I seen her do, I'm like, I can fight. I just, kind of help you learn some stuff, but it also helped me understand that was the past. And it's great to have a past, but it also helps you grow and look at your future and see things a little differently. So I think what you have to do when you have more confidence and self-awareness, so that you don't look at your siblings or your family looking down on you because they bring up the past. Stop being so sensitive, people. It ain't that deep. Like even when we talk about Izu and my daughter, we keep trying to go there. Yeah, she used to beat him up. Okay, but it ain't that deep. And he was gonna be crying today because somebody said she beat him up. He'd be really a weak man today.
You talking about me?
Yeah. All right, listen. So no, hold on. I'm just saying that would make you a weak man to be upset about what happened to you at 8. That only makes sense. But some people, unfortunately, still live on that and still get upset about the things that happened to them when they were little. It's like, come on, bro. Get over that. Move forward. That's why you can't move your life forward, because you get so stuck in the past. And you never address your siblings in the right way and build new relationships with them on an adult level, because you still hurt about something they did to you when you was 8 years old. It's like, come on, man, that's your sister, that's your brother. Your brother didn't mean to hurt you when y'all was playing. He may have hit you in the chest a little hard. He wasn't trying to really hurt you. He was just doing what kids do.
She didn't used to punch me on the top of my head as a joke.
Yeah, so funny. But again, if you'd have grew, it wouldn't have been a problem. But just saying, it's like those things, it's just things that we look at a little differently. So and so now we're gonna talk about this. And I want the people, and I want my boys in here to kind of comment.
Oh yeah, the people here, they gonna.
So before we get to the people, we're gonna ask. I want to ask you, DJ. I got a question for you, man.
What's up?
So you in the middle. Yeah. So that means you got 3 older siblings and 2 younger. Mm-hmm. Now, thinking of the older siblings and the way they look at you today, or the relationship you have today, do you feel like they see you as the man you are today, or they still kind of look at you as, the little boy that always want to take a nap?
Oh, we didn't even that crazy.
They like my naps. I think they look at me as a man today, but I'm still a younger brother, so if they say, hey, go grab me just real quick, I don't know if I'm doing it.
You don't mind?
No.
See, and I think that's maturity and security in who you are, because I'm comfortable enough in myself, and I also know this family, they ain't trying to hurt me. They ain't necessarily, and again, even when family hurt you, I don't think, and I could be wrong, some families are a little different. I don't believe my kids want to hurt each other. Don't mean they won't in doing certain things and they won't hurt each other emotionally or even physically, but that's not the intent. So sometimes you have to remember that, and so that you can bounce forward. So give me something that you can say when you was a kid. What happened to you? Something that one of them did to you that you was like, yo, I'm glad I ain't that little no more.
Oh, Kayla put me in a hurricanrana and flung me off the bed.
It
was a wrestling move. She wrapped her legs around my neck and she swung me, and my feet lifted off the ground.
and just for the audience, I want everybody to understand that my daughter Kayla is not very much older than him. So they pretty much were the same size all the time, even though he was heavier. So the fact that she was able to do that to him is kind of amazing. So that's
Amazing.
Yeah,
That's your word for it.
yeah, that's pretty amazing.
It was perfect. I remember that. And that's when I used to watch wrestling all the time. So I remember she used to like lead her.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember.
So now we will go to the youngest. Ryan. So give me a little something that you say. Okay, when I was little, they used to, because my remembers of them, they always treated you like the little brother, but they never really did anything to hurt you because you were so much younger. But tell me something, and it don't have to be that they hurt you, but tell me something that you remember.
Well, Shauna used to like to sit on my chest and just let me cry. So yeah, Shauna might be up there with the worst.
I said with kids. I said with kids.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
this is not necessarily a specific thing they used to do to me. I just remember as I got older, I found myself trying to flex more, I guess. Let them know that I'm not like the same 12-year-old. That got me into a lot of arguments with Derek over here, Rashawn for sure. Not much with Lamar. Yeah, he's Lamar.
And he older, way up there older.
My guy.
Yeah.
But and so even with the flexing.
Hold on, what's that with the waves up there older? You could have just said older.
Oh, older. I'm sorry, but way older. But anyway, but with the flexing, when you, why do you feel the need to flex?
It's a bit of I don't know. It's a bit of like a don't try me type of thing. Like,
so,
and we know how Rashawn is. Sometimes he could get a little
trying,
and I'm like, I don't know if he's trying me just because he's trying anybody or because I'm his little brother. I can't have the second one. I can have the first one though.
Okay.
But I can't have the second.
So have you gotten to a place where you can not care that they may say something to try you, or it's like, ain't no big deal. I'm comfortable with me.
No.
You haven't gotten
No, I don't think so. I still get like that. Even when we were on the way up here, DJ kind of just like we were getting into like a debate, and I was just kind of bit like. I was like, we were just going at it. He gave me a little attitude, so I was like, yo, why you get that? No, I gotta give it back. And then I gave it back. He feels the pettiness now, but I feel like I'm not matching energy.
I'm with it.
But at the end of the day, 25 minutes into the conversation, we realized we were both saying the same thing. It was just the way I framed my answer.
Right.
And he wanted me to clarify, and him clarifying made it feel like an interrogation.
No, what's interesting, but what's interesting is that in most people, and we talk about this in communication, is really how we talk to each other has more effect on what happens in the conversation than actually what we say in a lot of cases, because we don't know how to talk to each other, or it's not even that we're trying to be disrespectful sometimes, but we don't look at it from the other person's point of view. So when we say something, it can be rubbed the wrong way.
It's 100% energy based a lot of times. Like I cannot even, or not I just noticed like among us, me and my siblings, like we can not even necessarily hear what you said all the way, but the way you said it might make us feel like we gotta be a little defensive, or like, all right, like, no, what's up? Like, do we have a problem? And then we'll go from there. So, and it might not be a serious situation, but if I feel like you being a little jokey, then all right, I gotta get a little jokey back. Like, are we busting? Like, what are we doing right now? So the energy with which we say things, a lot of times that can set us up before the conversation.
So what I'm learning is my kids got some issues, people. And I'm sorry that y'all getting heated, but they don't know how to communicate without getting energy levels matched.
But once we get there, we get to understand it.
Yeah, once you get there.
No, we do. But we don't mind using our wits. So even if
we don't mind getting off the gate.
Exactly. So if I come out of, or let's say DJ come out of the room like, yo, where's my remote? And he's looking at me, I'm like, dog, I don't know. Like, why you looking at me and why you talking to me like that? But then he's like, no, I couldn't find it, and I'm just having a bad. Oh, all right, nah, I don't know where that's on. Like, we're good now. I understand where he was coming from. I understand what that energy was.
Okay.
See, we communicate.
So when I'm gonna say this then, my kids have issues, but one thing they learn is they know how their issues work for them.
That's
and
true.
I think what the people have to understand with your siblings as well is that y'all need to figure out how that energy works for y'all, so that you don't fall out, but you can have a discussion, whether it's aggressive or however y'all need to have yours. But you understand at the end of the day, they're still my sister, they're still my brother. I still love them. We still cool. We just had to get through that issue and deal with that issue.
On some level, all families, especially siblings, are crazy. So you just got to learn you're crazy.
Yeah. So I got this thing where I talk about, you know, all women crazy. And I don't mean that as a negative.
That is Big Rob.
But what I say is,
Big Rob.
so what I mean by that is, and when I was talking to them about it, I say, all women crazy. You have to find the crazy that works for you. And that's the same for men as well. We crazy too. Women, you find the crazy that work for you. And what I always explain to them about is that, like, my wife got issues that another man may say, no, I ain't dealing with her on that. I can't mess with her. I don't know how you deal with her. But for me, it don't bother me because her crazy works for me. My crazy works for her.
Tell us a little more about her crazy.
I'm not getting it. I'm talking about siblings. So even in siblings and those relationships, yeah, all siblings have those issues and they got some craziness going on. But that craziness you have to understand how it works for you and in your dynamic of a family and not ruin the family because people have some issues. So you have to work through that and have those conversations. Don't be afraid to have that tough conversation to tell your big brother, tell your big sister, or even your little brother, your little sister, you know, how they should treat you now. And have that conversation as an adult. This is how I expect to be treated. And this is what you're doing right now, or in this way, it hurts me or it disrespects me or makes me feel in a way that I got to respond that could ruin our relationship. But you got to have those conversations. And if you have those conversations, you're going to more than likely end up in a better place overall as your relationship will grow and not be stagnated in the past and just looking at what used to happen when I was 7 and 8 years old. I can look at you now as an adult. You can look at me now as an adult. And we can have a better relationship where we support each other through the things that we're going through. Because ultimately, you know, mom and dad is cool. Mom and dad going to leave here probably before the kids. And you're going to be left here with your siblings and, you know, your family. But your siblings going to be around. And those going to be people that can always remind you, yo, man, remember when we used to do this? Some good times. And, you know, y'all going to laugh about things that other people don't have no clue about. Because in those rooms, in the basement, and, you know, the places where y'all was growing up and doing things, y'all got memories that other people be like, yo, what they talking about? That's kind of crazy. But y'all can do that.
Unfortunately for you, all of South Carolina remembers your memories. You didn't all over the state by yourself.
It wasn't all over the state. It was all over the all over our apartment.
Oh, man, it was more regional than that. All right,
yeah, so it was in the complex. You didn't beat me all up. In schools, we never fought. So
Okay.
So in school, we fought together.
Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, we was attacked.
Absolutely.
But
me and Sean did that too.
So you know that's different. But again, we could laugh about things that nobody else would have a clue about. Things about my mom or things about, you know, us growing up. And the same thing with you and your sibling. Y'all can laugh about things that other people don't have a clue about. So you don't want to ruin the relationship because of a bad communication as you gotten older, or because people don't necessarily treat you the way you think you should be treated when they don't even know they're treating you wrong. And that's the problem. Sometimes people don't even know. If I knew I was hurting you, I would stop. But if I don't know, then why you mad at me if you don't tell me that I hurt you? That's your fault too. Because I didn't even know it was cool 10 years ago. I've been doing this for the last 15 years. You never said anything. So why are you mad at me? When all you had to do was say, yo, stop. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know what that did. Big of a deal. My bad. And now we move on and we can grow from that. But so I think that's where we all have to make sure that we're communicating with each other and trying to help each other through certain things and communicating, making sure that we set boundaries without ending relationships and always looking to run from a relationship because it got tough. Every relationship you have won't be tough. You don't end it. You just gotta figure out, how do I work through it? How do I talk to that person to make sure that it's a healthy relationship? So with that, we're going to talk to the people a little bit and my sons. And so I can just go around real quick from the people first. We'll start with the people and see if the people got a question or two. And then we'll see if either one of my boys got a question or two about anything I've said so far.
No, let's start with the boys. Let's start with the boys.
Start with the boys. I think they need. Oh, okay, let's go. We got one. Come on. What's up, D?
What was a boundary you had to set with one of your brothers?
My brothers are younger, so I never really had to set a boundary with them. Well, I shouldn't say where I verbally, but they know I don't curse and I don't drink, so I don't expect you to curse at me. You know, I don't curse at you, and you know, so they've always known that. So my brothers don't curse at me, and they curse and they do their thing, but they know, I don't curse at me. So I think that's one, because I don't disrespect you in that way, you know, so don't do it to me. And that's how I grew up. My mom didn't curse at me. My dad didn't curse at me. So I didn't grow up with people cursing at me. So I don't like people to curse at me. And I definitely wouldn't expect that from my siblings, especially my brothers. Like, yo, man, y'all better, you know, check yourself. So well, yeah.
What have you seen from your children in that sense where we've been a bit like me per se? Have you seen situations in which I react badly to being the younger brother?
Yeah, I think you. I just think you're too sensitive. I think certain time. I don't believe any of your siblings are. I think they can take advantage of you at times, which is also your fault, because you gotta set boundaries on how people take advantage of you. Be like, yo, you don't do that. I ain't doing it. So you know sometimes. So that's your fault too. But also, I think when they say something, I don't think you have to attack or come back with like they say something and your response is a jab. Maybe a softer response would have got you a better result, or would have kept everything level. So, and again, and I'm not saying it's always, but I'm saying that there are times where I think you become, because of your sensitivity, you become more aggressive than you need to be in a situation.
Do you got a follow-up?
No, you go.
So I have a follow-up based on that.
Okay.
Are you saying that his jabs are out of sensitivity?
Yeah.
So the reason I ask is because sometimes I feel like I would just be a jab, just a jab.
Yeah, and no, but that's you.
Oh, okay.
See,
that's a mess.
But see, because it ain't because your feelings got hurt that you decided to throw a jab. Mm. But for him, it'd be more, how dare you speak to me this way, or who do you think I am? So that's what I mean by sensitivity. So I respond in that way, as opposed to, you said this, I'm gonna say that, and that's your response is more of, I just give you what you gave me. I don't really care one way or the other. So that's not a sensitive. You just don't care. So it's like, I'm just giving whatever. Where he does care, and it's like, yo, and again, you ain't the little brother. So it is a little different for him, because he's.
Yeah. Take me out of it. I wasn't asking.
You know what I'm saying? But as a little brother, you're trying to, like when you little, you're trying to fight for that space. I gotta show him I'm growing. But now you're a grown man. Mm-hmm. You ain't gotta fight for no space. You are the space. You that dude now. And you're all you that dude. So now I don't have to be sensitive to anything anybody says to me and have to respond in a way that's gonna hurt them, where I could respond with in a nicer tone to resolve the issue. I can use my brain more than my feelings. That's basically what I'm trying to say in certain cases. So
that example played out today, where he threw a shot at one of my favorite rappers. Talking about they just rap about Cadillacs, but he said it based on how. But me as the older sibling, like, I know if he throws that jab, I know he may have took something I said out of context. So it's up to me to figure out what he took out of context and to clarify it. Yeah. But that example does play out, but it's up to the older sibling too.
I mean, but no, it's up to the older sibling to ultimately look at their younger siblings to say, I'm not going to treat them like this anymore. I need to understand that they are growing up. So, but that takes time as well. But I'm just saying, just speaking from one person, it's like, yo, I don't care what you do. It's still ultimately on me on how I respond. I'm held accountable for how I respond, not for what you do. And that's in anything in life. And so you can say, well, they did this. Just because they did that don't mean you can do this. You're going to be held accountable for your action. So and sometimes your action can cause a rift where a rift didn't need to be caused. And my thing is, I want to bring, especially my family, I want to make sure we bring in people together, as opposed to tearing them apart, because I could have handled it differently, or I should have handled it differently, or I didn't have to be as aggressive as I was. And there were times in like, well, yeah, I'll come off really aggressive, you know, and it's like, yo, I don't have to be that aggressive. I could have said it a little softer, and it could have went a little differently. So that was on me. So that's what I'm saying. It's just how we respond sometimes.
Right, you got a question? Hey, wait, hold on. Before I give you this, John, can y'all, I don't ever want to see anybody raise their hand again. Like, bruh, y'all being way too formal. And y'all, like, suppressing laughs. Bruh, it's fine. It's fine. Just be yourselves. Just chill, yo. Be yourselves.
So, here's my thing. Is that you said I like to give jabs. And I will admit, I am sensitive. I do take. I don't know
that. I'm sensitive too.
I don't know when people say things to me, and it feels like you're throwing a jab. It's different if you say a joke versus what feels like a jab. Now, that's where I feel like my confusion is. Well, people's confusion when I come at them a certain way, because your intentions, you might have meant it like this, but I didn't take it like that. So, what's so bad about me saying it right back?
I'm saying it's not. One, is nothing wrong. It's only something wrong if what you say is causing a problem in the relationship. I don't want to be, because again, and I've always been sensitive, and you know, it took me a long time to realize that. But yeah, people say something to me, you hurt my feeling. Oh, trust me, I'm coming at you, and I got some words or I got some hands. Either one I can do. But I realize I don't want to ruin the relationships because I took something the wrong way. Where maybe that person, even though they said it, I may have taken it in a way that it rubbed me wrong, but was that really their intent to rub me wrong? So it's better for me to clarify what they were trying to say, or than to just respond automatically. So I'm just saying, before you swing at somebody's head, make sure that's what they meant to do when they said that, whatever they said to hurt your feelings.
See, but also on the topic of boundaries, it's about setting a precedent, a boundary. I can't let you get this off.
No, you can't. No, that's not how you set boundaries. You don't set boundaries necessarily just by swinging on people. You set boundaries. All you gotta do is say, "Don't say that to me," or "Don't do that," or "The way you said that, I don't like." That's setting boundaries. Just because you automatically come back at somebody harshly doesn't mean that's a boundary. If anything, that's what that does is that's going to cause more confusion and more of a fight than it was needed. A boundary is just saying, yo, don't do that no more.
Okay, but do you think that works? How often does that actually work?
It works. I ain't saying just those simple words. You may have to use more words than "don't do that no more." You have to explain yourself. Yeah, you have to explain yourself, but you don't have to be harsh or break people down or hurt somebody in order to set up a boundary. Setting up a boundary does not mean I hurt you. It just means that I'm no longer letting you hurt me. That's all that really means. I'm not trying to hurt you in setting up this boundary, but I'm not going to let you hurt me.
But I'm also showing you what happens if you try and do this.
But again, I don't have to show you that off of the one time or you do something to me. If you,
well, for one, in most cases such as mine, it ain't usually one time.
But again, that's on you. Because you allowed it to build up.
So by not throwing your
No. By not setting a boundary the first time. By not setting a boundary the first time, you allowed it to keep happening, and then you decided, I can't take this no more, and you start swinging. And it's like, yo, all you had to do was set a boundary early, and it would have stopped. Now, if you set a boundary and it don't keep going, then maybe they're gonna catch that jab. But at least you gotta it's almost like you work in HR. So in HR, if somebody comes, if a supervisor, and I've been a supervisor, so if somebody is not doing their job, the first time I don't fire you. I can't fire you the first time. What I can do though, I can give you verbal counseling and tell you, hey, you need to blah blah blah. These are things you're not doing. I need you to do better. You don't do it, you're still not doing it, I'm going to give you a written. You ain't doing it then yeah, now we're going to go into letting you go. But there are steps to that, but it's also steps in relationships. I can't just assume that people are hurting me on purpose when I've never told them what hurt me. If you walk up to me every day and say, hey, what's up, Dad? And punch me in the chest. And I'm like, yo, what's up? But it hurt. I'm like, when you was 8, maybe it didn't bother me. Now that you 25, you punch me in my chest. Yo, man, that hurt. But if I don't tell you it hurt, but if I don't say, yo, that hurt, you don't know it hurt because you always been doing it. So it's before I punch you in your mouth, and you be like, yo, Dad, why you hit me in my mouth? I'm like, because you punched me in my chest. And you like, that don't make sense. I always punch you in your chest when I see you. I need to let you know. I need to let you know that, hey, this hurts now. So stop doing that before I respond in a way that hurts you.
But as a little brother, it is a bit of something you don't notice until you reach. And for me specifically, I didn't even notice it until I went to college that everybody don't see me as a little brother.
Right, nobody else gonna see you that way.
So then the stuff that I do notice when I come back around my siblings like that, I'm not having it no more.
But then you tell them that.
I do. But
No. See, we talking about two different things. See, this is what I mean about not listening. I'm saying what I'm saying. No. This is what I'm saying. And I ain't talking about you not. I'm talking about people in general. What I'm saying is that if you tell someone to stop or to, I'm not having this type of treatment anymore, and they continue, then you respond however you need to respond to make them stop. What I'm talking about now is you set boundaries before that happens. It's when you first find out or can acknowledge that I don't like this treatment, I need to let them know, I need to let them tell them to stop. They need to stop this. And I don't have to be nasty and harsh to tell people don't treat me this way. But if over time they continue after I've told them that, then whatever happens, that's on them. But I need boundaries does not mean I have to hurt you. It just means that I need to stop you from hurting me.
I believe that Rob is suggesting that you replace the jab with a conversation.
So, but yeah. So I mean, again, I'm not even saying don't jab. I'm just saying don't jab first.
But also,
initially, you gotta have a conversation. That's all.
First of all, like you guys said, it's a jab. I'm usually matching a jab with a jab. It ain't like you threw a jab and I threw a hook. Or an uppercut.
You're missing the
point. The jab.
You're missing the point, though, man. The whole thing is not about what you matching me with. If I threw a jab but didn't intend for it to be a jab, and you threw a jab, then your jab is more
impactful,
right, than mine because I never intended to hurt you. No, it ain't about what the result is not the issue. It's what was my intent. My intent was just to talk to you, was just to say what I was going to say, but it was never meant to hurt you. But then you intended to hurt me because you perceived a hurt. Because you were hurt from what you perceived was my intent, which wasn't true.
I gotta
say, all I'm saying,
yes, I agree.
So all I'm saying is,
and I didn't say it was hurt, but I think this is a lot easier to say in hindsight.
Again,
in the moment,
of course. Look, man, this life, like everything in life, is easier on hindsight. Everything I'm saying and everything I say every week is things I've learned, not the things that I did right in that moment. When I was 25, trust me, I was going to do what you did, and probably worse. At 57, I'm like, yo, it's a better way to handle that. And so what I'm doing now, and the reason for the podcast, is to tell people, think about these things now so you don't ruin relationships later. And try to work on being better at your age, because no one told me I was wrong at that age. So I'm trying to tell you at the same way I told you when you was 8, the same way I told you at 16, I gave you instructions and different things on how y'all should do things. I told you that so you didn't make mistakes that I made when no one was telling me. So I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm just saying that it happens. But even when you slip up and you mess up, do like I had to do to your mom the other day and just walk around and say, babe, I'm sorry. But you would say, hey, bro, I overreacted. I apologize. Ain't nothing wrong with that, and you move on. But I say I'm sorry to your mom all the time, but that's another story.
But I feel like, as people that throw a lot of jabs, which I feel like
that's what we do. But it's fun,
right? It is.
But I'm saying we're doing
let me land this strong. So I feel like we do know. Like, you encounter a lot of times. Like, let's even use Rob for an example. He throws a lot of jabs. He throws a lot of jabs, and I feel like you know enough of his jabs and him to know when some of them are him just talking, and we brush some of those off, and some of them are more intentional jabs.
Right, I know that. I'm saying brush it off.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. But no. It's not about them hurting or not. It's about the intention behind it. So yeah, sometimes it's gonna hurt, but those hurtful ones that you don't think he's intentionally throwing a jab, he just happened to hurt you. Those are the ones that should be the conversations, as opposed to the ones where he's on. I'm hating. I'm on something. Yo.
Yeah.
Those are the ones. If you go jab, you go to jab.
Yeah.
But and using that in general with relationships in general, you know what I mean? Because you can kind of fill out.
Fill out the energy.
What was that? Like, did you mean that one? And then you have a conversation that figure out maybe they have a problem that y'all didn't talk about, and then you go from there. Or all right, you just shooting. So all right, that's what it is, and that's what it is. We playing, but
so I mean, like I said, but when you say growth, it's about growth. It's about growth. Don't be the same, even with insensitivity. Don't let everybody attack your feeling.
Oh yeah, I will say.
And so
who can do that is my family.
But I'm saying, but even family, they gotta have. You gotta get strong enough where everything you don't take as personal and in a way that I need to hurt them because they did this. And again, like I said, sometimes you just be like, yo, whatever, and you move on. But then sometimes you have to address it with them in words and not in kindness and not harshness. But and again, people, I think that's what most of you guys out there, just learning how to respond to your family more than anything, because you don't want to ruin relationships in your family. It's like you have a lot of friends that's going to come and go when you develop a relationship, and some of them are going to be closer than your family, but your family is still your family, and your brothers is still your brothers, and hopefully you build relationships with your brothers and your sisters that they know without a shadow of a doubt, if they ever need you, they know all they gotta do is pick up the phone and he gonna be there. And that's, I would think that's why I know that's what my family knows. They look, if I call my brother, he there. So and that's built off of not hurting them when they've done some stupid stuff. It's kind of like, yo, I just let you know, don't talk to me this way or don't do this, but I ain't gonna hurt you. Up front. But I've had conversations where it's been kind of harsh, where I had to let some of them know harshly to stop talking to me a certain way. But but even then, at the end of it, it's like, yo, I love you, but I just need you to stop doing that. And then it was cool. So,
see, I was going to say, we've already been evolving as the years have gone. This conversation that happened a couple hours ago would have went completely left 2 years ago. We completely left 2 years ago.
So I'm happy for the growth.
Growth.
That's what it's about, growth. And so hopefully people, y'all grow with your family the way my son's growing with each other, and they treating each other better and responding quicker to the negative in a positive way. Because again, you still gonna have fights with your brothers and sisters forever. Y'all gonna disagree. But how do we recover sooner? We just want to recover sooner and be able to kill it and move forward. So with that, did the people have a question before we get out of here? Because it's been a little longer than normal, but I hope you guys enjoyed it a little bit.
the people want to know.
People want to know.
Why would you handcuff your son to say he can't hit girls when really it should have been fine, like, to just hit your older sister for a little bit? When I got taller than her and I could just beat her, okay, sure. I meant him when he could beat her. It was fine. But before that, it was just abuse. Like, she was just mollywopping. She could have punched me in the head for the sport.
Right.
Yeah, she remembers that probably. Like, she don't remember why she punched me in the head. She used to punch me in the head. So I just had to take it. I get headaches sometimes when I think about what she used to punch me with.
What is the people's question?
Why would you? Why? All right.
Why did your daughter get away with it?
Why did you tell me I couldn't hit girls? And I get it. To this day, I don't hit girls. I teach my son to teach my sons not to hit women.
Good.
We don't hit girls. That's the rule.
Okay.
But I feel like at that point you could have said, you get shot, like, you get your sister, like, defend yourself, big dog. Fight back. Like, why you?
So let me help you out with that. Let me help you out since the people that got more into their own feelings.
Punch it back.
So let me help them out a little bit. This is what happens, and my son doesn't even realize this, but I'm about to help him with something.
Help me, please.
When his sister would beat him up when he was little, the same way my sister beat me up. But
They're not the same way.
No,
That's
well, see, my sister ain't punching me in the top of the head. But with you getting punched in the head by your sister, what that did for you, and you don't even realize it, is that it allowed you to understand how much you can take. And so when you got out on them streets, when you got out in them streets, and you were out to fight, man, and you was like, yo, I can handle this dude. And you was able to handle your own.
Right.
And it was all so the next time you see your sister, give her a hug and a kiss for beating you up. Because you can handle that now.
when I see her, I'm gonna give her a hug and a kiss with a CTE in my brain at 10.
Well, you was a little touched anyway. So anyway.
I was touched mad times, but I want to sit with her fist on the top of my head, people.
As we love now, we got to talk about it here because this is really sensitive right now. So we're going to leave you guys with this. Work on your relationship with your family. Set some boundaries with your siblings if you need to, but do it in love, people.
And that transition period between childhood and adulthood is tricky,
Yeah,
but you can navigate it. It's all about learning yourself and learning your family.
And doing it with love, man. That's all it's about. You know, you want to be able to have relationships that grow with your siblings, not stop. So, with that being said, we want you guys to do something for us.
Like and subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend till all friends are told. And then tell some other people's friends.
There you go. Tell them all. Share. Hey, yo, don't just go on and check us out on Instagram, but check out the whole podcast. You know, check us out. See if you like us and tell us about it.
And
all right?
we're about to be at 100 billion subscribers.
That's right. So you don't miss out.
Go check. And then when you get there, subscribe.
All right. So with that, we want to say thanks, and we will talk to you later. Peace.
Bye.
Studio. We in the studio. We in the studio. We Rob in the studio. In the studio. In the studio. Catch a vibe in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. We Rob in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. Catch a vibe.
Yeah, I'm in the studio with Rob. I need to make the heat flicker. Izzle on it, only thing can make a Rico beat sicker. So listen and get your wisdom. Gemstones on your head. Good with the OG like Flintstones, good in bed. Been living a long time and he got something to say. Depending on how you feeling, dog, you might got something to pray. This type of influence that you ain't gotta filter through your liver. We in the studio with Rob, come let the heat rock.